Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be working on the 009 layout again. So this is going to be episode 5 of building this layout, and if you haven't seen the last video, this layout is actually going to be making its debut at the Glen Waverley exhibition, so please feel free to check out the last video where I explained all the information about the exhibition. I'll leave a link to it up in the top corner of the screen so you guys can check that out. But yeah, as I said, this layout has an exhibition booked for it, which is something I mentioned in my in the first video of this layout. But anyways, the exhibition is actually less than a month away now. So and I've still got a bit of work to do on this layout. So I've got to get my backside into gear and crack on with the layout. So in this video we're going to be focusing on the sidings here as well as the scenery surrounding it. Now off camera I've done a little bit of work. I've finished off this, I've done the scenery in this corner here, and I've just tidied up the scenery around where the level crossing was. I've finished up the static grassing around there, and I've also put a foot crossing. So that's all done and finished. But the focus of today's video is the sidings. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some ballasting, do some static grass work, and we're going to add various detail parts, so pallets, drums, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's all going to come up in this video. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, click on the notifications bell and press all, that way you stay notified for future videos on this layout. And also I'll try get when it does go to the exhibition, I'll try get some footage of it at the exhibition. That way I can put it in a video, because I do plan to make a video showing the process of how I prepare the layout for the exhibition. So that'll come out probably after the exhibition, but that's for later on. But anyways, as I said, the focus is the sidings, and that's what we're going to take a look at in today's video, and we're going to finish it hopefully. So anyways, let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in this video is we're actually going to ballast the track and this grey area around the tracks, although I do want to have a little bit of grass just going along the front here. But what we're going to use for this is two colours from Woodland Scenics. We have the fine ballast grey blend and the medium ballast medium grey. So we're going to be mixing like two different shades and also two different grades of ballast. I think that will make for a nice effect. Now on camera these do look like the same colour, but when this one here dries, it actually dries a shade darker. If I just move these out of the way, hopefully you can see that this is just ever so slightly darker when it dries. So I think that will add a nice bit of variety to this area. So got my cup here ready to go, so I'll get those two mixed, and we'll get on with ballasting the track here as well as the surrounding area, I suppose you could call it. so I'm going to keep going at this off camera, so you probably get the idea by now. Now as you can see, I'm not going for a super, I guess, clean finish with the ballast on the track, as after all it is just some siding, so they're not going to be as well maintained as say the main line. So I'm going to do the point here and the little bit of track in the foreground here just off camera, as it's pretty much the same as you saw here. But yeah, I'll do this off camera and we'll put you back on once it's finished. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. So it's now ready to be glued down, and classic me, mixed up way too much ballast, so I've still got a whole lot of ballast here, so not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I guess I'll find a use. So I'm going to spray this with some water, and then I've got my PVA glue water mix in here, and I'm just going to saturate this whole area, and I'll probably have to leave it for a couple of days for it to fully set, and then we can move on to the next stage. Alright, so all the glue's down, and I'll leave this for overnight, possibly longer, depending on how long it takes to dry. Now you're probably looking at the point here and thinking, oh no, your point's all glued up, and yes it is, but same thing happened with this one here, and I was able to free it up. As you can see, it works, still moves, and I was able to get the electrical continuity back. So I don't think it'll be too difficult getting this one back to working condition, having it all moving again and having electrical contact. So I'll actually show you how I do it. It's not that difficult, but once it dries I'll show you, of course. But anyways, I think the best thing to do right now is to leave this to dry, and then we'll come back and do some more scenery. Okay, so it's actually been a few days since I picked up the camera, and this ballast is pretty much dry now. Now you can see why I wanted to use a different ballast for the sidings here. So as you can see, it's a little bit darker here, and then obviously the main running lines are a bit lighter, so it just creates a bit of difference, a bit of scenic interest, so that's why I've done that. Anyways, so now that this is pretty much dry, there's a few areas which I need to touch up, but you know, I'll do those next. So next thing to do is first of all touch up those areas of ballast, and I'm also going to fill in this area here, all of that, and also all of this with a bit of greenery. So that's the next stage, so let's get on with that. Okay, so as you saw from that bit of footage, all the greenery around this area was all done, and I've also touched up the ballast in a few places where there was some ballast missing. So this will probably take a few days to dry, same like what I did with the ballast. That took probably a good 3 days to dry. So I would suspect that this would be around the same sort of drying time, maybe less, I don't know. But anyways, so I'm going to let that dry. But in the meantime, I've actually got some detail items to add to this scene. So let's go ahead and paint those up. Alright, so it's actually been a few days since I last spoke to you, and I've done a fair bit off camera, and this is just some of the stuff I've done off camera. I didn't bother filming any of this simply just because I really need to get on with the layout, as there's just under 3 weeks, at the time of filming this, there's just under 3 weeks until I need to have the layout ready for the exhibition. So and sometimes filming just makes everything take so much longer. But I will show you some things that I've made here. So I've bought a whole load of wheels and Pico kits. So we have a wheels, this one here, lamp, hut and oil drums. So that's this, and then we've got the point lever kit here, which, there you go, that's what it looks like. And then we've got some Pico storage, no, not storage, packing crates, that's what they are, packing crates. And then I've got some pallets here. Now they're made by a company called In Front Models. Now they're Australian standard pallets, but that's all I could really find at Train World. Obviously you've seen the water tower before, that's not new, I got that when I first started the layout. But yeah, I've been making all this stuff off camera, just over various evenings after work, and at the time of filming this, during the afternoon, I finished up painting all these. But what I'm going to show you is how I'm actually going to attach the water tower to the layout, because I'm not going to glue it in permanently. You can probably see this piece of rail here and you're probably wondering, why have I got this? Well, I'm going to show you what this is going to be used for. So let me show you how I'm going to attach the water tower to the layout. Okay, so over to the layout now, and as you can see, I've actually scraped away a bit of grass here just so I know where the water tower is going to sit. Now, what I'm going to do, what my thinking is, under here, if I just zoom you out a bit, there you are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a drill and very carefully drill a hole through here. And then, taking this bit of rail, I'm going to glue it in like that. And then I'm actually going to drill a hole through the board here, where I've scraped away the grass, and then that way I can just poke this in and it's not going to fall out. I'd much rather do it this way rather than gluing it down permanently, because when I take this to exhibitions, all the buildings will be removable, just so that way they don't get damaged in transit when I'm taking the layout from home to the exhibition and exhibition back to home. So that's my thinking. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. Alright, so I've just drilled the hole out, and I'm happy with the size. I've just taken a piece of scrap rail just to test that it all fits in there. I did have to make it a little bit wider than what I originally made it, just to make sure that the rail would fit in there. Good news, it does. So anyways, the next job is to glue down some of those details that I just showed you. Alright, so the next thing to do is I'm actually going to glue down some of the detail parts that I just showed you before. So I'm going to start off with this point lever frame. I'm going to glue them down before I do the static grass, just so I know that they're in place, and it's also going to be easier to do it now rather than when the static grass is down. Now, if you recall me saying before how I wanted to add point rodding, I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to wait till after the exhibition, and here's why. It's going to take me quite some time to make, as I'm going to scratch build it. I don't have a whole lot of time until the exhibition. As mentioned before, I only have just less than 3 weeks, so yeah, I really don't have a whole lot of time to make my own point rodding, and not only that, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on the layout. And it's not just work on the layout, it's also other things like making the back scene. You know, this table that the layout's on, it's going to have like a black cloth over it, so I need to get one of those. I need to make up the layout name board. There's going to be a sign on the front of the layout showing the name of it. So yeah, there's still a stack of work to do. So therefore, I'm not going to do any point rodding before the exhibition. It's going to have to happen after. But anyways, let's glue this down now. So, oops. Very carefully put a bit of super glue just under here. There we go, that's now in position. So what I'll do is I'll work off camera and I'll put the rest of the detail items on. Okay, so I've just spent a bit of time putting some of the detail items in. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to go too overboard. Now, I was thinking about putting some of these coal sacks in from Model Scene Accessories, but I think I don't want to clutter the area as it's only a small area. So I think what I'm going to do with these, I might end up putting these in some of my wagons as wagon loads, but I'll have to think about that. If you think that's a good idea, let me know in the comments. Anyway, so I was thinking what I'll do is I'll give this a little bit of time to dry, as it is only super glue, so it shouldn't take too long to dry, but it is quite cold down here in the garage, so I'll come back in an hour, see how they've dried. If they're dry enough, I'll probably just end up doing the static grass. If not, I'll wait till tomorrow and see how, and hopefully they're dry enough tomorrow, and I'll do the static grass. So I'll see you when I do the static grass. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes since I glued down all those detail items, and they're all pretty much dry enough now. So I decided I'm going to do the static grass tonight. So I've got my static grass there and my applicator. It's the same blend of static grass that I've been using throughout the entire layout. So enjoy the time lapse with me putting it on. Okay, so static grass has been applied. What I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum up the excess for reuse. You'll also notice in this little area here, I didn't put any glue in a particular square. That's because this building here will be put in that area, so I didn't want any static grass. So I'll vacuum up the excess for reuse, put it back in the container of course, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so pretty happy with how the static grass is looking. You can see what I was talking about there with that square for this building here. That way, if I did put static grass down there, the building wouldn't sit properly. So by not putting static grass here, looks like the building actually, it's bedded in properly. So when it came to doing the static grass, you can see in areas like here it's a little bit thin, whereas like areas like here, for example, are a little bit thicker, and then areas like around here are a little bit sort of in between. So that's what I was trying to achieve with the static grass. So I'll let this dry overnight, and I'll come back the following evening after work, and I will do the final few bits and pieces, and then we'll call this area finished. Alright, so it's now the following evening, and the super glue that I put on the bottom here is now dried. So there's obviously way too much excess rail sticking out. I also, if the camera can pick that up, patched up the bit of black that chipped off. So got my rail snips out here ready to go. So I'll probably chop off about that much will do. And there we go, that's now ready to go. And what I'll do is I'll show you how it all goes on the layout. Okay, so over at the layout now, and as you can see, got the hole drilled here, and the idea is this, just get it into position and just basically place it down like that. And I will blend the bottom in a little bit better than this. I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll sand a bit of the plastic just to make it a little bit smoother, or maybe put some bushes around it, I'm not sure, but I'll figure that out. And obviously the arm here can swing to get to both lines to fill up the water in the steam engines. And then this small building here goes where this missing patch of static grass is, so that way I know where that's going to go. So that will go about there, and then if I just turn the camera around, this building will go just there. So the yard's pretty much almost complete now. I was going to add these fences, this bit of fencing in this video, but I want to wait until I have the scenery on the hillside here. Whoops, don't want to damage that. I want to wait till I have the scenery on the hillside here finished before I put that fencing in. I feel like if I put the fencing in now, adding the scenery is going to be a little bit difficult, so hence that's why I'm not going to add it in this video. It'll probably be in another video that I add the fencing. But anyways, I think this is a logical place to wrap up for today's video. I feel like I've got a fair bit done. I've also cleaned all the track and tested the point. That all works absolutely fine. To clean the point out, I should also mention I used some really fine sandpaper to clean that point out. So I just got the sandpaper inside here, cleaned and very lightly rubbed the inside of the point blade, and then inside the track as well for both this bit and that bit. Still moves absolutely fine. So yeah, point works absolutely beautifully, as if it never got gummed up with glue. But yeah, that's how I cleaned that one out. So anyways, I think that will be all I do in today's video. Okay, so this will be a logical place to wrap up for today's video. I would like to thank everyone so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Still a bit more to do in this area, but it's all going to come up in future videos. In the meantime, in the next video that follows this one on this layout, I'll be working on the hillside. I'll be building the house, doing all the detailing up there. So that will be the video that comes after this video. So yeah, look out for that one. Anyways, I'm very happy with this, and as mentioned before, this layout will be attending the Glen Waverley exhibition, so if you haven't seen the information video that I posted around the start of May about that exhibition, then please do watch that for all the information. I'll put a flyer up on the screen now, so feel free to pause and read all the information. So yeah, I hope to see lots of you guys at the exhibition, but in the meantime I've still got a fair bit of work to do, and hopefully I'll have it all done by the exhibition. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and of course I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, stay safe, and of course have a nice day. Bye everyone.